Hi, and welcome to this week's Word of the Week. The Word of the Week is action. Now, as we've been talking about goal achievement, especially here at the beginning of the new year, action is a very critical part, right? The first thing we talked about was vision, but vision without action is just a dream. To make it a reality, you need some type of action. Now, action is generally defined as an act of will, a thing that's done. And also it means something that often requires repetition and consistent performance over time. So that's an action. So whatever you want to get out of life, when you get that vision, you need to create the action steps that are necessary to get you from where you are to where you want to be. Now, I was just recently reading a really interesting article in a magazine, which I like to read. It's called Success Magazine. And in this article, a gentleman by the name of John Maxwell has the following quote, and I'll read it from the January issue of Success Magazine. And he says, "Too many people hesitate in the beginning because they cannot comprehend the entire journey. Understand the value of starting small. People ask me all the time how I write so many books. I tell them, for me, it's one word at a time. Here is a good formula to follow. Think big, start small." That's one of the problems that we have when we're setting goals. Often we have a really huge vision, which is what we really need to have. We need to have a big idea of where we want to be and what we want to accomplish. And then we need to create the actions to get there. But often, because the goal is so huge, we feel that we have to make these huge steps in order to get there. When in reality, we just need to make one small step at a time. Now, it's real interesting because Lao Tzu, famous Chinese philosopher, wrote in the Tao Te Ching, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And that's it. No matter how far you have to go, no matter how much you need to achieve, it all needs to start with just one small step. And sometimes that step is just as simple as making the decision to take an action. In physics, we have an idea called the law of inertia. The law of inertia states that an object at rest will tend to stay at rest, and an object in motion will tend to stay at motion unless it's acted upon by an outside force. Well, sometimes we're acted on by outside forces, which are our circumstances, but really the thing that needs to drive us and to break that inertia is our inside force, our mind, our will, our desire to improve ourselves. Now, another great definition of action is action can be defined as the most vigorous, productive, or exciting activity in a particular field, area, or group. Now, if we use that definition of action with the other idea of action of, a thing that's done, if we put action into our actions, we put excitement into the steps that we take towards our goal, then we're more likely to keep moving forward. So what I want to challenge you to do is to think about the action steps that you need to take to get you to the point that you want to be, right? So just take a moment, think about it, and you don't have to have everything mapped out. It's just one step at a time. And if you can make one step towards that goal, whether it's a physical goal, a mental goal, any other kind of achievement, you just need to take one step today, and then one step tomorrow, and keep moving one step at a time. And I guarantee you, you're going to get there. All right, we look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks.